back to the show. Congratulations on making the final. G, what did you make of the performance tonight? But overall, how happy are you with your progression to this final?
I think performance was professional. You could see that from a mile off, from the first minute up until the last. I think what you said about Fulham did have in that second half, they were dominating the ball, I guess, but not really doing anything. But I felt like Liverpool were just letting them do that because we were just thinking we don't need to really overexert ourselves. We don't need to go too far ahead in terms of getting too excited and things like that. We had the moments where, unfortunately, this attack, they should be killing off the game. With the chances that we were having, misplaced passes, getting into the final third, silly little things that we were doing, which we should be killing off these kind of games. But again, Fulham are no slouches at the end of the day. So you do have to be not worried, but you just got to be on your toes. And I felt the whole game, the whole 90 minutes, that was just professional. That's probably the best thing I could say for the performance.
Yeah, listen, I totally agree. I'm someone just like you that feels as though, yes, they had a lot of the ball, but I felt like you let them. I was watching the game, but I felt myself and my mind somewhat drifting. I felt myself just thinking, Fulham ain't going to do very much in this game.
Yeah.
I was actually having to force myself to concentrate because it just felt like the game was fading away from the goal. The last 15 minutes was great because of the goal they got back. But when you consider the injuries that you've got, the rotation, the elements of rotation that came in today, the kids that were playing at the back, you must be starting to feel really positive about this season and the next few years ahead.
I think especially with it's the rotation that I'm probably more shocked than impressed, if I'm being honest, because Klopp has never, ever, ever rotated, ever, like the way he's doing now anyway. Whether it's just because he couldn't, whatever the context is, he's just never done it. So to see him do it now is kind of like, damn, okay, cool. Do you know what I mean? He's seemingly trusting the youngsters a lot more in terms of allowing them to play, first team football. I think being in the Europa League this season has helped massively. If we were in the Champions League, I don't think we'd be seeing the amount of rotation that we've seen this season. We're in the Europa League, which has allowed us to play against, lesser teams, but people like Kwanzaa, your Owen Becks, Ben Doak when he wasn't injured, Kai Gordon's obviously coming back, Connor Bradley getting into the fold, Endo even being allowed to just play in these kind of minutes. It gives them a bit more momentum, a bit more time to allow them to just play and get their rhythm. Whereas Champions League football, we ain't got time to be trying to bed in Kwanzaa and Beck and all of these guys. Like, they're going to be playing little Dowie Carabao Cup minutes, and it's just not going to work out for them in terms of their development. So I actually think it's been, as annoying as it is being in Europa League, I actually think it's been a blessing in disguise for everybody at the club, at the in the team, and I think you're seeing the fruits of that. Now it's just about continuing. For me, brilliant win. We're through to the final. Boys will obviously celebrate however they do that. I'm done now. The game's over. Next game. That's all I care about. Chelsea. And then we move.
And that's our foundation I was talking about. Thank you very much for the super chat, Total Red. If you think I've got great ball knowledge, I'll take that. I don't think I have better knowledge than anybody else, but thank you very much indeed, brother. It's the foundation I was talking about earlier on, Samuel, that because the first time round with Klopp, this foundation was built. It's not, oh my God, let's get overexcited because we're in a final. And I always go back to a story that Patrice Evra tells about the first time he won the Carabao Cup at Man United in 2006. And he said they celebrated on the pitch. He said, but they got back into the dressing room. The trophy was put away in a box. Everyone got dressed, got on the coach, went home and got back to work. And he was sort of like, oh, are we not going to go and have a big party and go to a nightclub and then like have a sort of parade or something? He said he couldn't believe the workman-like mentality after that. And that feels like what Liverpool are about to go and do now. It's great we're in the final, but it's business as usual the second you get back in that dressing room tonight.
I think we got the benefit that we did it exactly 2 years ago. So it's still fresh in a lot of people's memories how that season went, where we won the cup double, but it was more of, for our standards, a disappointing season. I was hoping for us to win 3 trophies. I didn't think we were going to win a quadruple, but 3 trophies, but we ended up winning 2. Still a decent season, but we ended up winning 2. And now I feel like we got a lot of guys in the team that were here 2 years ago that understand the assignment that, you know what, cool, we don't take games lightly. We take it a game at a time. We take it as we can. I know our next game is against, I believe it's Norwich on Sunday, I believe. And then Chelsea. But like as you said before, we can't take Chelsea. I know Chelsea are crap right now for their standards, but you cannot take Chelsea lightly at all. Actually, if you really think about it, our last games against Chelsea have practically all been draws. Even the cup finals have been draws. Even if you go back to the Super Cup final, where we played, it was a 2-2 draw and we beat them on penalties. So Chelsea are no slouches, especially when they come against a big top 6 team. They always love to give it to the team, and they play quite very well. So I just like how grounded this team is. I like that Klopp is trusting a lot of the players in the team, because I don't believe before that he trusted a lot of the players before in previous seasons. I felt like we had the first 11 and that was it. This time, I believe we have a squad. And I believe that he's put a lot of trust. And G was right, because I said this before in the season. I said, I hate being in the Europa League. It's an embarrassment for me. However, it's slightly a blessing in disguise, because those kind of games that we know we're going to win, you can bring out these kids. We can bring out Akonza. We can bring out O'Connor Bradley. We can bring out these guys, and they can be embedded into the system. And it seems like when they come onto the pitch, especially like the game against Arsenal, when we beat them 2-0 at the Emirates Stadium FA Cup, and the kids came on, it's like they instantly knew what they needed to do. They knew the system, and they had little cameos where it was very good.
I totally agree. You make the final, Ram. There's not much. The performance tonight, I think we've touched on that. Professional. How do you feel about playing Chelsea again in this final? We know Chelsea have had a bad season, but how do you feel about taking them on? Because they feel like they're really circling for some revenge.
Yeah, they can circle for revenge as much as they've won, but at the end of the day, facts don't change. We're still favourites. We've got to win. I don't care if it was Chelsea or Middlesbrough, whoever, or even Fulham. We are the favourites going into the final, and we were beyond favourites. Even when it came to the semi-final draw, it was literally everyone, then Liverpool, then everyone else. So whoever we got, I knew what the facts of the matter don't change. We have to win. That is the assignment that was given to us, and that's the assignment that I think a lot of these players have gotten on board with. You know, a lot of the new players have gotten on board with the fact that, you know, this is Liverpool. We're here to win trophies. We're here to win for the club and build on that legacy that this club is so known for. So business as usual. Look, Chelsea can talk about revenge as much as we want, but at the end of the day, we got to win. And I think we should win. I think it's a given, because Chelsea are just the team. They're just not consistent enough. Compare it to Liverpool, where we've been consistent most of the season. We've been getting wins left, right, and centre. We should win. And there's no disrespect to Chelsea. It's just that if you look at the table, we're by far better than them by a mile. I guarantee you, if we're doing a combined 11, I don't think one Chelsea player gets in that team. I really don't.
Gee, it's a really big point. We'll come back to that. You don't want to be the first team in England that lets Potts win a trophy, do you?
I hear what Ram is saying, and I do agree, but it's a final. And I can't lie, I've been finals. We've been involved in finals. We have no right of winning. AC Milan, Champions League 2005. Liverpool had 0, and I mean 0% chance of winning that game before the game and at halftime. Guess who won the game? Guess who won that final? And that's just talking about 2005. Terry just named through the last few seasons more recently of teams who have gone in there as favourites and walked away as losers. So it's a final. Chelsea do well against top 6 sides. They will be up for the game. We've been drawn against them even in the Premier League. So let alone a final where it is kind of cagey anyway, because nobody wants to be, making mistakes. I'm not saying that Liverpool won't win. It's just more, I wouldn't be that confident, so to speak. It's a final. Honestly, 2 good teams, both deserve to be here. It could go either way. Do you know what I mean? Liverpool will be favourites because they are the better team. They've performed better this season. But I don't know if I'll be like, yeah, Liverpool are overwhelmingly favourites. You know, we're not facing Middlesbrough where you're like, oh, okay, yeah, you know what, we should walk all over them. Chelsea will be up for it, and Pochettino will 100% be up for, you know, this kind of game. And he's already drawn against Liverpool once. So by the time we face them, I think we would have played them twice, because I think, yeah, as Samuel said, we played them again.
Like next week, yeah.
Exactly. So I'm not saying that's an indicator, but it'll be funny if that game, you know, we'll see how that game obviously pans out when the time comes, and then, you know, you face them in the final. It's a final. I just think professional job, get it done, we move, kind of thing. And I think Terry, you mentioned it there, talking about, you know, Manchester United and, you know, the kind of mentality. And that for me has, when Liverpool, in my opinion, were at the peak of their powers, so between 2018 and 2020, I think that's the best Liverpool I've probably ever seen in my whole lifetime. It was always about the next game. Nobody cares about this game. We're done with this game. It's done. We move on to the next game, because that's the mentality you should have anyway, because you're supposed to be a team who are, you know, trying to challenge. So we've got Chelsea coming up, but the most important game for Liverpool right now is Norwich on the weekend, FA Cup. Can we make it through to the next round? Perfect. Then we've got Chelsea again. Keep that mentality. I think it will stand you in good stead. When you start looking too far ahead, that's when you start saying, yeah, this should be easy. Chelsea are rubbish, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, 2-0 Chelsea. Now you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, trying to, you know, backtrack what we said 3 weeks ago. So, yeah, I think you're right. Don't let that seep into... But the players won't do that. They won't do that. Anyway.
That's what the players should be doing. They shouldn't be thinking about what's going to happen at Chelsea. You know, we got Norwich. We got Chelsea at home. We got Arsenal away. We got games that we've got to win these games. We got games that we should be winning, but the games that we got to be winning. Like, if we're going to go on and challenge on all fronts that a lot of Liverpool fans are claiming that we're going to do, then literally you have to take on that same mentality that we had in 2022. What's the next game? Oh, next game is against Norwich. Cool. Let's settle with them. What's the next game after that? Chelsea. Okay, we've got to go and do a job against Chelsea. What's the next game? Arsenal. Got to do a job. That's what it has to be from now until the end of the season. But like I said, the expectation for me is that we should be winning the final. But again, Liverpool Football Club like to do things a lot harder. And when it comes to they are our bogey team. They are our bogey team.
Samuel, I'm going to ask you the question. Ram brought this up, not me, really. Do any Chelsea players currently get into the Liverpool first 11? I need to ask that question.
Oh, that's actually a good question.
On form, in my opinion, they don't. But on
form, yeah, I would say on form they don't. Even though I can't lie, Chelsea have been. They had I think they're on a 4-game winning run. I think I believe.
Oh, that's cute.
Yes, it's cute, but I would say no. I wouldn't.
Here he is.
I wouldn't say any Chelsea. Because I think the strength that they have probably is their midfield. I'm guessing it's their midfield. And even right now, I would say our midfield is performing very well to a point where I can't see... It's like there's no outstanding performance in their midfield for them that can get into our team. Not saying that, Enzo and Caicedo are not great, but just right now on form, I don't see it.
They've got bigger names for sure. They've got bigger names, but I think when you look at the performances of both midfields, it's kind of even to an extent. If not Liverpool, just a little bit better as a cohesion. But like I said, when it comes to form, and when you talk about this season, I honestly don't think any of the Chelsea players get into our team. If you're talking about like overall, if you're talking about reputation as well. Maybe Enzo, maybe a little bit of Caicedo might get into the team. But if you're looking at just form this season and performances over the last 6 to 7 months, I don't think any of our Chelsea players get into our team, in my opinion.
I just saw the comment, just made me laugh. Godzilla said more than half of the Chelsea players get into the Liverpool team.
Yeah, that's why you're like 7th and we're 1st.
I'm going to play devil's advocate, though. I think I'm going to say Caicedo does, because you guys bid a world record fee for him. So I'm going to put Caicedo into the team if I'm playing devil's advocate.